Welcome back to Second and Short. It is Friday, June 13th, 2025. And Major League Baseball's number one prospect has arrived. Roman Anthony is up for the Boston Red Sox. In the NFL, I'm just going to go ahead and just toot my own horn to start the episode. One of my hot takes, or just takes in general, has aged absolutely beautifully with Jaire Alexander being released by the Packers. And with the first year of this new Champions League format in the books, we're going to kind of go over it, kind of give our first year review, some pros, cons, and whatnot about the new format. And we'll give our focus to the FIFA Club World Cup, which I have plenty of opinions on. Just it's happening. That's kind of, yeah, I don't know. The Club World Cup is a confusing topic to me. They're closing the transfer window for it. I don't like it, but we'll get to that. Luke, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Kind of tired.
Yeah?
But I'm good.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot of articles this week. I don't know why, just about everything.
Yeah.
The Club World Cup, very enticing. There's a great Ringer article, kind of just condemning the whole idea. And reading up, there was a fantastic article that I'm going to bring up. Not any information from it, but I'll just go ahead and recommend it now for the Aaron Judge fans out there and just the good sports journalism fans out there. Wright Thompson from ESPN, one of my favorite narrative sports writers right now, put out an incredible article about 3 days he spent with Aaron Judge. It was fantastic. I've been doing a lot of reading. Don't know why, but it's scratching the itch right now. But that doesn't mean I'm going to subscribe to The Athletic. Fuck you. Today we got a pretty solid MLB recap. Not much going on with the Braves, but a lot of things that I'm excited to talk about. Got a little bit NFL news, some crazy stuff happening. Obviously, Jaire Alexander and then Shamar Stewart, which we'll talk about. A little bit more about Aaron Rodgers. And then we're going to talk about the Champions League format, the Club World Cup, and then we'll round things out with questions time. Nathan's back, second episode back. Nathan, are you excited for questions time? I know you're putting the questions together right now.
I'm always excited.
I literally saw you typing.
You saw nothing.
All right. Well, is there anything we need to cover before we get into the MLB recap?
I don't think so.
We're having some solid weather. It's a little cloudy right now, but like some solid weather these past couple days.
My parents and I, we've been talking about the weather a lot. We've been sitting outside almost every night and just kind of talking about our days, which has been super nice. Slow start to the summer.
Yeah, it's not like 90s yet.
Yeah, I did.
Which I'm fine with.
I did warn them though. I think when summer finally hits, it's going to be probably pretty bad this year.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I just hope it doesn't go too long. I hate when it's like mid 90s in late August.
Yeah,
that sucks.
I hate that.
Yeah, exactly. 85 at Halloween.
Yeah. Especially going back to campus in August, all the hills that are in Athens. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
so hot.
That sucks. All right, let's go ahead and get into this MLB recap. And like I said, there's not much notable stuff going on with the Braves. It's typically how I'd start the MLB recap. So instead, I'm going to talk about Roman Anthony, who got called up because Willie Abreu is on the IL. He's only on the 10-day IL, so we don't know how long it's going to happen, but it's certainly going to cause a discussion as we go to the trade deadline with kind of the log jam they have with this outfield talent. But he recorded his first hit. 2 outs, 2-run double to the opposite field, put Boston up 2-0 in the first inning against the Rays. So shout out to Roman Anthony. Did he go to Stoneman Douglas High School or IMG Academy? I can't remember which one. I know he's from Florida, though. He did go to Stoneman Douglas. Shout out to Roman Anthony. Yeah, and shout out to Stoneman Douglas. He's been playing left field. But he debuted, so in the minor leagues, he's been playing left field. Debuted in right. He's technically listed as a center fielder. In his first game, he did make an error in right field. Pretty bad error, too. And then they had him doing some fielding work pregame the next day that everybody was talking about. But there is a lot of options for how the Red Sox can kind of move forward with the outfield. Jarren Duran last year was a Gold Glove finalist for center field. He's been playing left field this season because Ceddanne Rafael is one of the best defensive center fielders in baseball this year. But Ceddanne has also played all over the infield and has a great glove there. So maybe you could see him moving to second base. I know Christian Campbell's been struggling a little bit. Maybe that could get him out of the lineup for a little bit if you want to put Rafael in the infield. Because when Willie Abreu comes back, he's the reigning AL Gold Glover in right field.
Yeah.
So it's like you have so much talent. Roman Anthony has a great glove. It's just that error is an error that happens. But there's obviously trade rumors flying around with Jaire and Duran in particular, just because you could get a lot out of him if you do trade him off. But the Red Sox definitely have some decisions to be made coming up.
They're one of the few teams that I'm starting to see a blueprint for,
Yeah.
and it's kind of scaring me. But I'm surprised that they're not above 500 this season. To be honest with you, I think they're pretty talented.
It's those close games that are just absolutely killing them. They're now 34 and 36, but they just keep floating around that spot. I think we talked about it last week with that stat. They've lost like 17 one-run games. And it just keeps happening. Shout out to Marcelo Mayer too, the rookie. He's been killing it. I'm just glad that all these guys are up right now. That's the biggest thing to me, is just being able to get these guys up and getting significant playing time in the majors is so big. Whether they have to end up going down at some point or not due to guys coming back from injury, giving them the chance to grab a position is pretty huge.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about another guy that got called up recently and has also just been breaking the internet every week with his defense. Denzel Clark of the Athletics.
Oh my gosh.
Not only the guy plays awful offense. I mean, he's just not a good hitter. But Nathan, I've got a link in there to a video of all three of the crazy catches he's had in these 3 weeks that he's been up.
Minute.
It's unbelievable. This guy's unbelievable.
You know, I saw one of the catches that you're about to mention earlier this week.
Yeah,
did not think that guy was 6'4", 220.
Oh, he's
getting
huge.
up like that.
He's huge.
That's
Why
insane.
is that so zoomed in? I don't know what happened there, but okay. So
it's like
the
Mike
first
Trout.
one he had was against Toronto, which is where he is from, and he did that in front of his family. I believe this might have been one of the first series he played in at all as a pro. Crazy grab, running up the wall. Kind of his signature move now. And then he had one against the Orioles where he slammed into the wall out there in left center, put his body on the line. It kind of took a beating from that wall, but it was the third out of the inning too, which is crazy.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, he's giant. But it's the last one. It's this one.
Yeah, this is
robbing
what I saw.
Nolan Shanuel in the first inning. Fun fact about this catch. First of all, I think it might be one of the greatest home run robberies I've ever seen. He reached a maximum height of 11.3 feet. Oh my God. That's getting you 15 inches above the rim.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
And in that same game, I have another link there, Nathan. He had a diving catch as well. But yeah, no, this catch just unbelievable. And obviously, he pushed off the wall.
It almost looks like he mispositioned himself, and he had to really stretch out with his glove hand there to get that ball. That was very impressive.
Yeah. But this guy is just electric. I mean, he is cementing himself for, perennial Gold Glove center fielder. He'll probably be batting ninth, but like a perennial Gold Glove center fielder. Shout out to Denzel Clark out of Cal State Northside. Was a 4th-round pick out of Cal State Northside.
Oh, man.
Made that diving catch look so simple. Nolan Shanuel did get some payback, though. Hit a walk-off home run in the 11th in this game. But
wow.
Yeah, shout out to Denzel Clark. He has been lighting up not just the outfield, but everybody's social media feeds. The other guy that lights it up every week, we talk about him, Aaron Judge. He's still unbelievable, in case anybody was wondering. He is the first player to reach 6 F-WAR this season, and he actually dropped to 5.9 last night. Oh, no. But Cal Raleigh's second in F-WAR, and he's at 4. That's a problem. That 1.9 gap would put... would be the difference between Cal Raleigh and 24th place, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah. Insane gap.
Cal Riley's been having an awesome year, too.
He's awesome. We're going to talk about him in a second. But Aaron Judge on pace for 237 hits this season, which would be the most since Ichiro in 2007. But crazy enough, would only put him tied for 21st all time.
Wow.
So Judge is putting up numbers that, like, this generation essentially isn't seeing hit-wise. But in past generations was essentially normal.
Yeah.
I mean, just unbelievable. 237 hits is crazy. And also his 1267 OPS would be 9th in NL-AL history, and it would actually be the second best if you don't include Babe Ruth or Barry Bonds.
Damn.
Yeah.
Already 33, though.
I had to specify NL-AL history because if I say MLB history, that includes the Negro Leagues, and they, like, blow some of these numbers out of the water. Some of those guys were unbelievable. And also, with that 1267 OPS he has this year, the league average this season is 710. And if he had 0 hits, 0 walks, 0 hit by pitches, and 0 sac flies in his next 201 at bats, he would finally drop to that league average.
Wow.
And
unbelievable.
Fun fact, so 201 at bats is a lot because right now he's at 249 this season.
Yeah. Hey, and look at the baseball savant. He's got red in the fielding there too.
Oh yeah, he's a great fielder. He's an outstanding fielder. The 100th percentile in 4 different hitting stats is unbelievable.
99
is actually unbelievable. Yeah, 99, 98, 95. It's crazy. He's unbelievable. And like I said, go check out that Wright Thompson article. And if you enjoy some good sports journalism, very good writer. Love Wright Thompson. He's got a couple good books, but I haven't checked them out.
What was the verdict with this time with Aaron Judge? Just a quick synopsis.
I don't want to spoil it, but it talked a lot about he's got a 4-month-old child right now. So like talking about that and how like he's just baseball is kind of just a safe space for him right now, a getaway from the house. And that's why he's enjoying it. He's not too tied up in like, trying to, meet these records of Ted Williams and whatnot in a season. He just wants to go have fun when he's at the park. And I think that's kind of the brief part I'll give you. It's just he's kind of weighing being a father of a newborn child and also being the best player in baseball, which is an interesting thing to get that inside look at. But shout out to Wright Thompson, an outstanding journalist. Cal Raleigh, the current home run leader with 26 home runs. He has just 65 hits this season.
Wow.
Which means that 40% of his hits are home runs. And for a comparison, when Barry Bonds hit 73 homers, his percentage was 47%.
Wow.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and we talked about it a couple of days ago. Cal Raleigh was on pace for 66 home runs. That has dropped because he's gone 3 games. Oh, no, 3 games without hitting a home run. His longest streak this season is only 8 games without a home run. But he's still at 26 because he has so many multi-home run games this season.
I didn't know he's from Florida State.
Yeah. Yeah, he's actually from North Carolina as well. But yeah, shout out to Cal Raleigh. Love that guy. And obviously I root for him because he's a Knoll. But yeah, I mean, he's just unbelievable. We talk about him every week, just like we talk about Judge now, because he, in my opinion, he's the second best player in baseball. It just sucks because he's in the same he's in the same league as Judge, so there's no chance of being the AL MVP. But that 99 barrel percentage,
crazy to say that there's no chance for a player like Cal Riley to be MVP.
No
season.
Chance at all. And he's also an everyday catcher, which you don't see a lot in this sport, because he's outstanding behind the plate. All right, let's talk about. I like to address when I get things wrong. And I talked about Bowden Francis last week, but then I got a bone-chilling stat about that one. In their last 14 games, the Blue Jays are 0-3 when he starts, and they're 11-0 when anyone else starts. It is just Bowden Francis's fault that they are not killing it right now.
Oh, man.
I mean, they are killing it right now, but he's kind of standing in the way. So after they swept the Cardinals this week, they have won 5 straight series and are 11-2 in the last 13. Both of those losses during the win streak and the last loss prior to the win streak were all Bowden Francis.
Damn.
So
that's a bummer.
Sucks. Yeah, that really sucks. And I think that parlays us very well into our bad pitching segment of the show. And we're going to start off with Matt Sauer from the Dodgers. Going up against the Padres the other night, 4.2 innings pitched, 13 hits, 3 walks, 9 runs, all earned, and 6 strikeouts on 111 pitches in relief.
What?
He came, so the Dodgers did a bullpen game where they used Lou Trevino as the opener, and then Matt Sauer came in the second inning and pitched 4.2 innings off of that in relief and was just awful.
Yeah. I mean, is there kind of a silver lining in that stat, though?
No.
I mean, he went 4.2. He had 6 strikeouts in 4.2 innings.
9 runs.
But 9 runs.
9 runs is like almost can't come back from that territory.
Well, definitely.
That's the problem.
I don't know. I think there's some positives to look at.
But also on a bullpen day, I mean, just let it ride.
Yeah.
Just let it ride. They only use 3 pitchers. I think that's a success for them. Another one, and it feels kind of wrong to put him here in this category, but Yuri Perez for the Marlins.
Perez.
You might remember that name. This is his first start since 2023. He made it against the Pirates, which would be a good starting off place, but it's been a little while. 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 walks, 4 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Not necessarily what you want to see, but also first time pitching since 2023 could be Could have been anything.
It also sounds like that was supposed to happen for the Pirates. Like that was just somehow
It's
inevitable.
fair. The Pirates need that to happen for them. And then another one, Michael Kopech, a guy making his second appearance of the season, going up against the Padres. 0.1 innings pitched. This is a crazy stat line. 0.1 innings pitched, 0 hits, 0 runs, 3 walks, no strikeouts, 19 pitches, 12 balls.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, just an odd day, and they just immediately were like, okay, he walked to the bases loaded. Let's get him out of there. And then maybe the most uncharacteristic start of them all, Chris Bubich, who is, before this game, the league leader in ERA against the Yankees. 4.1 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts on 97 pitches. And the Yankees actually batted around him in the third inning and scored all 5 of those runs. But his league-leading ERA now drops to a measly 1.93. So he's still killing it, but kind of his first really bad start of the year. But Chris Bubich has quietly been pitching outstanding for the Royals.
Definitely.
And what he was going up against is what's going to start our good pitching side. Clark Schmidt against the Royals. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts on 91 pitches. What's crazy, though, he did all that. 91 pitches, he only got 44 strikes.
Interesting.
You don't see a lot of guys throw 44 strikes and still strike out 7 batters across 6 innings.
That's wild.
And let alone have that kind of ratio. I mean, he was essentially half balls, half strikes at 91 pitches, in 44 strikes. So kind of an odd day for Clark Schmidt, but he got himself the win in what kind of was a great performance. Got a couple of complete games as well that happened this week. We got 3 in the last couple of days. Spencer Schwellenbach, a complete game against the Brewers, got himself a win. 9 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 9 strikeouts on 105 pitches.
Dang.
He looked dialed. I know he gave up some runs, but Schwellenbach looked dialed. It's the kind of performance you want to see out of a guy like this who's just, each time he goes out, it just feels like he's trying to build on something.
Yeah.
He's trying to work on things. He looked phenomenal. I absolutely loved it.
105 pitches, 9 strikeouts in a complete game is like
It's
pretty
great.
good.
It's great.
Not a lot of pitches thrown there.
Yeah. Andrew Abbott, another complete game. He got a complete game shutout against the Guardians. 9 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts on 110 pitches. He was outstanding. After the game, Terry Francona was like, I don't know if I can say this, but he's got big balls.
You can say it.
Yeah, you can say it. Tito, you can say literally whatever you want at this point. You are a legend. And then David Peterson got himself his first career complete game on the bump for the Mets and got himself the complete game shutout versus the Nationals. 9 innings pitched, no runs, 6 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts on 106 pitches. So
Damn.
shout out to David Peterson, who has been pitching phenomenally. Now ERA under 2.5. I think there's now 4 pitchers in the Mets rotation with a sub 2.9 ERA.
That's pretty good.
Unbelievable. I think that's with a minimum innings pitched of 30, I think.
They're actually kind of dialed this year. Dang, Kodai Senga having a
Really
good year.
They look really good. Yeah, Kodai Senga's playing pretty well. Yeah, 68 innings pitched, 1.59 ERA for Senga. He's killing it. A lot of these Mets guys are killing it. There's a reason why they're like either first or second best team in the National League right now. All right. This one is just, this is heartwarming, especially when Yuri Perez had a bad start. Sandy Alcantara. I finally looked it up. I decided it's Alcantara. Against the Pirates as well, just like Yuri Perez was. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. That's what we want to see from Sandy. He has been struggling big time.
Yeah.
This was the exact performance we're looking for from Sandy, to start bouncing some things back, start upping his trade value before we get to the deadline. Make sure the Dodgers have to give up just a little bit more to get him. Brought his season ERA down to 7.14, which is good.
Yeah.
I mean, he was at 8.47, so it's better than it was. Sandy, we're happy to see you pitching well. This is kind of no longer the good pitching segment. Did you guys know that Shelby Miller's still kicking? This guy's still playing. Shelby Miller was
Miller.
He was an all-star for the Braves in 2015.
Oh, wow.
Despite having 17 losses that season, because we were awful in 2015. But Shelby Miller has been around for a while. He's 34 years old now, and has found himself a role in the Diamondbacks bullpen. got a 1.63 ERA in 28 games, and he's got 7 saves.
Ooh.
Yeah. Shout out to Shelby Miller. He had a standout year. I think he was 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting in St. Louis in 2013. Had another pretty good year in 2014. Then came to Atlanta and was stellar. Like I said, he was an all-star. He was 6-17, but he was an all-star. And was very good, especially in the first half of the season. And then just kind of fell off when went to Arizona in the trade that got us Dansby Swanson. And just never really caught his footing again. A lot of bad seasons. Showed up in LA in 2023. It was pretty good. Bad year with Detroit last year. And then Arizona, he's off to a hot start. I'd love to see Shelby Miller just still kicking.
Shout out.
This one sucks. Jackson Jobe, young up-and-coming pitcher for the Tigers, is getting Tommy John. So that sucks. That absolutely sucks. It's going to end his season and likely won't even be back for the start of next year. And this does really suck, but there is a fun fact within this, which is that the first person that did the procedure on Tommy John, the pitcher, was Dr. Frank Jobe.
Whoa.
Yeah, same last name. Not related, I don't think, from what I know, but that's pretty crazy.
That's like some JFK Abraham Lincoln shit right there.
Exactly. So maybe that means that Jackson Jobe will be the last person to ever get this, and he's fulfilled the prophecy. It's come full circle. Nobody else will ever need Tommy John.
Could you imagine?
I doubt
Oh, wow. Andrew McCutchen passes Clemente on Pirates home run list.
You know what's crazy? That's literally in my notes.
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
he hit number 241 of his career, passed Clemente for 3rd all time. I haven't looked at this, but I'd like to guess, Nathan, who the 2 are ahead of him. I believe number 1 is going to be Willie Stargell, if I had to guess. Otherwise, I'm between Ralph Kiner and Bill Mazeroski. And I would love to know if I'm right about any of that. But that's the only ones I could think of. Luke, do you have any Pirates in mind? Barry Bonds could be up there. He was there for a considerable amount of time, but he wasn't really hitting bombs yet, considering he was not juicing yet.
Yeah. Neil Walker's got to be on that list, right?
I mean, he's somewhere because he probably hit a home run for the Pirates. I don't think he's in the top 2. What do we got, Nathan?
Bill Mazeroski is 10th.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
With 138.
Okay.
He's behind Jason Bay, if that.
Well,
Whoa.
Jason Bay was very good in Pittsburgh.
Barry Bonds is 5th
Okay.
with 176.
So I'm thinking I was right with Kiner and Stargell, maybe.
You are correct.
Okay. Is it that order, too? Stargell's 1, Kiner's 2?
That is correct.
Yeah. Shout out to Ralph Kiner. I think he had the hit that caused the, win probability added. He has the highest win probability added on a single hit. I think is the stat for Ralph Kiner. He hit a grand slam, I think, to walk off a World Series game. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty sizable gap.
He's got to hit 60 home runs.
Yeah, that's not happening.
To tie.
McCutchen is probably retiring at the end of this season.
Yeah.
So
To catch up to Stargell, he's got to hit 234,
definitely not doing that.
which is
What?
almost as much as he has.
Willie Stargell is a
Willie
outstanding
Stargell,
player.
475 home runs
My
for the Pirates.
God.
Yeah, the Allegheny is very
Did
familiar with him.
play 2,360 games with the Pirates.
Willie Stargell is
7,900 at bats.
Willie Stargell is like the favorite power hitter of non-casuals. I love Willie Stargell.
You know what, though?
By the way,
McCutchen's got him beat on stolen bases.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. This is kind of interesting. There's a growing likelihood that Adley Rutschman could be a trade piece sometime soon for the Orioles.
I can see it.
Can you pull up his numbers this season? Because they're atrocious. The bat has really regressed a lot. And the defense was always just pretty good. But in AAA, they've got a catcher, Samuel Basallo, who I think is one of their top prospects. And he's kind of looking like a long-term solution behind the dish. He's hitting .252 with a .595 slugging right now in AAA with a 148 WRC plus. He's great defensively, but for Rutschman, this regression has just continued. It's not that like he was good this time and then it's just a down year. It's like he started off so hot and it's just kind of slowly gone downhill. But the numbers are like scary. They're kind of scary when you look at him this season because for some reason he's just not getting it done. And I don't necessarily know what it is that the problem is, but this is a team that's in a bad spot.
Oh,
And he's batting 229. And he's only got 19 RBIs right now. A 697 OPS is atrocious. So there is a likelihood that they're going to be selling because this team sucks right now. And he could be a piece, but he doesn't necessarily have to be a deadline move. He could be an offseason move. I mean, you probably want to see what Basallo can do at the major league level before you're like, yeah, let's give up on Adley Rutschman.
yeah.
But you certainly got to think about it. You got to think about the likelihood of them potentially moving on from him for some probably pitching prospects more than likely.
Yeah, I was thinking pitching as well.
Yeah, pitching certainly where they need to make some moves. So we'll see what happens with Adley Rutschman. I got two more things that kind of leave the game itself. The Athletic. Fuck them. I'm not paying for it, but I will steal shit from Reddit posts. They conducted an anonymous MLB players survey and got some interesting results on a couple kind of hot button issues. One of the things is that they asked about how legalized sports betting has changed how fans treat them and their teammates. Kind of a resounding opinion of people are very mean. And they've bans getting harassed endlessly. One player said that like fans never talked to players this way before, which is a crazy thing to think about. But I think we all kind of knew that. But it almost feels a little more like realistic when you ask all the players and all of them are like, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a double-edged sword because it is insanely big for the sport to have it integrated.
Yeah.
It's tough. And the other thing was that 63.4% of players in this survey were against robo-umpires calling every ball and strike. So they're not necessarily against the review. I think the review has a pretty high approval rating, but the majority, or at least a plurality of the players in this survey are against every ball and strike being called by a robot ump.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting because it is something where it's like, you know what? There is some times where it's up to the judgment call. And and the strike zone kind of changes for different guys.
And a robo-ump isn't going to reward a pitcher for a good pitch that's outside of the strike zone.
Exactly.
So
exactly. It's a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I think that's some interesting stuff. And there was other things. If you pay for the Athletic, you're a sheep, but also you can read the whole article.
So you don't like the Athletic?
No, I don't like the Athletic just because it's behind a paywall. It's part of the New York Times. Everything for the New York Times is behind a paywall.
Yeah.
It's just how that shit goes.
We talked about that a lot in class, like paywalls of news organizations.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
You got to make money somehow, but also like you could just cover your website in ads and I'll at least read your articles. And then you'll make money off the ads.
And try to close out the ads as you go.
I don't even care. I'll read between ads. I'll be like moving my head around. The last thing I've got is that the MLB has bought a minority stake in John Boy Media, which is very interesting.
I don't know if I like that.
Well, I think they're doing it the right way. So it's an undisclosed minority stake, and it's going to give John Boy Media a lot more access to the league and to team IP. So they actually already have a merchandise partnership with the MLB PA. Like I've worn like that Matt Olson shirt and the Ron Acuna shirt. Yeah. That is a John Boy shirt, but they didn't have MLB licensing, just MLB Players Association. So there's no Braves logos on that stuff.
Yeah.
This is going to open the door for them to do things that include the players and the team's rights in merchandise, sponsorship, integrations, things like that. But the big thing for me, and I was kind of the same way. When I read the headline, I was like, I don't know, like if
what
the
if
leagues should be getting involved in this.
Yeah.
But this agreement includes no editorial control or oversight by the MLB. And inversely, the league will not be obligated to amplify every piece of John Boy content. So
it's a pretty respectable.
Yeah, it's. I think simply that the MLB wants to be a part of one of their largest media brands, and John Boy
wants more access.
Yeah, in that helps the MLB in the long run.
Yeah.
If John Boy Media is making good content involving them and them kind of being a part of it, like they've obviously had their ins. I mean, they have ins with like the Yankees. I mean, Boone comes on the podcast all the time, and they go and do that spring training house in Arizona. They've done a couple times. Things like that where like you see the access, but it's always player or personality based, whereas this can kind of get more league based.
Yeah.
This has great potential integrations for a lot of different ways that the MLB and John Boy Media can kind of work together and cross promote and continue to grow the platform, which I like.
Awesome, yeah.
I think it does work out well in the end. I think it is a good thing. But like, when I first read it, I was like, ooh, I don't know. Like, we shouldn't really be having the leagues getting involved in some of their biggest media corporations, especially one that's been independent and like started off as like a hobby.
I'm just glad it doesn't sound like John Boy just won't be like PR now. It'll still be John Boy.
No, and I think it's also in an interesting way that like his the lip reading videos would really be an asset, I think, to MLB's social media presence. I mean, showing that kind of stuff for them, I think, is a great piece.
Yeah,
I think this opens the door for other things. I mean, John Boy started as a Twitter account. Obviously, Jimmy, the guy that is John Boy. But then obviously now you have like this media conglomerate with a bunch of personalities and shows and whatnot. But like, I think this opens the door for like Pitching Ninja.
Yeah.
To have some kind of MLB partnership as well. Like, because he's a big part of how social media is helping to grow the sport and grow the appreciation of what people have been working on for years and not really talking about publicly. Like, that kind of stuff interests me as somebody that intakes that kind of content. It's very interesting. I don't have anything else for the MLB. What was there an article you were trying to show us, Nathan? Okay. All right. Well, then let's move on to this little bit of NFL news. That's kind of just going to be the case for a couple more weeks. I mean, I think we're going to have to get into like mid-July before we start previewing divisions. So,
God, I hate this new helmet that Aaron Rodgers is having to wear, man.
Yeah, it does look brutal. I mean, that thing's giant.
Yeah.
That is a bucket.
He hates it too.
Good. He should.
Yeah.
Didn't they just ban the helmet he liked using? Wasn't that like the case?
Yeah.
It's kind of brutal.
He needs a helmet.
I mean, his old
Achilles.
helmet kind of looked weird.
Oh, I loved his old helmet.
I just thought it was kind of. It also was kind of bucket.
Yeah.
Like, we got an interesting stat here. So the Steelers had the fourth most rushing attempts in 2024, but now Aaron Rodgers attempted the second most passes in his career with the Jets last year.
Well, I mean, that kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he was throwing the ball a lot. Probably shouldn't have been. I mean, Breece Hall was very good.
Yeah.
He didn't have to throw the ball that much.
Running around blocking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, also he's married. Aaron Rodgers is now married.
Yeah.
He just dropped that on everybody.
Yeah, he did that in the woods where no one knew.
Probably. I mean, just about everything he does is in the woods.
Yeah.
He also, I think, started training with DK out in California at USC, I think. Which is pretty cool. Yeah. But the interesting part is that I saw a report that Aaron Rodgers was the Steelers' third choice at quarterback this offseason, behind Matthew Stafford and Justin Fields. So they tried with Matthew Stafford. The Rams wouldn't really give him up. They end up kind of reworking the deal, and it all works out for them. Justin Fields, on the other hand, they must have not offered him enough money because he took, $21 million a year for 3 years, I think was the deal, to go to the Jets. I mean, it's kind of interesting that Fields didn't want to come back or that they didn't want to pay him that because that's not that much money. I mean, shit, Russell Wilson just got that same kind of number with the Giants.
Yeah.
So,
who knows, man? Yeah,
I mean, Justin Fields is making like half what Daniel Jones was making with the Giants a couple years ago. So that's a great way to measure that he's maybe getting underpaid.
Man, I'm so excited for A-Rod, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I just hope he looks as healthy as he seems like.
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing. I hope he plays as healthy as he looks right now.
Well, I think he's only played for one team since the Packers.
Yep.
I definitely think we're a better fit for him than the Jets.
I agree.
And I think he,
as a franchise, for sure.
He likes the Steelers more than he likes the Jets.
Probably.
I remember there was a game where him and Tomlin kept looking at each other when Aaron Rodgers was out on the field and Tomlin was obviously on the sideline. Like, Rodgers just came out and said, many times that he likes the blue collar aspect of Pittsburgh and he likes Mike Tomlin. So I think we got a match here.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Next thing I've got is the Packers releasing Jaire Alexander. Reportedly, this was due to Jaire just not being willing to take a pay cut, despite the fact that he has been quickly declining over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I called that one out, I believe, on the NFC North preview for 2023.
Yeah.
You'd have to go way back to fact check me on that, but I think that's when I kind of called out, or maybe it was the review of the division, maybe after the season in 2023-24. But
yeah.
Either way, I vividly remember kind of calling that like Jaire Alexander is quickly taking a downturn.
Which I wonder how you argue that as a player and an agent when like a team is like, showing you stats and just how you're declining and they're like, we want to pay you less money, but we still want you.
Yeah, the proof is there.
Yeah.
The proof is there for why he would get a pay cut.
Yeah.
He's simply not been worth the money that at one point made him the highest paid corner in the league.
Yeah. But even if you're the Packers, you hate to cut a guy like that.
For sure.
You drafted him. He was
You already
super
don't
good
have
with you.
corner depth.
No. Not at all.
To the point that the next day after this news comes out, at mandatory minicamps, Bo Melton was working out at cornerback.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they're literally trying to convert Bo Melton into a cornerback is how short-staffed they are.
It's not a good sign.
Yeah. So some things are going to have to be figured out in Green Bay. But for Jaire Alexander, maybe this lands him somewhere that could be beneficial for him.
It almost seems like the Packers didn't prepare to do this.
No, I don't think they were. I think they probably assumed, hey, this guy's been pretty quickly turning not good over the last 2 seasons. Like, I'm sure he'll take a pay cut.
Yeah.
But Jaire Alexander does not come off as the kind of personality
just about to
that would take a pay cut.
Yeah.
He's a loud, kind of out there guy, very sure of himself.
Yeah, which you want guys like that on your team,
especially.
But they got to back it up.
I want my corner to be an asshole.
That's why I love Josh Norman.
Yeah,
shout out Josh Norman.
But Josh Norman kind of ran into the same issue.
Oh yeah,
that's the whole reason he left the Redskins.
Yeah,
but
whoa,
that's what they were called at the time.
I'm just kidding.
It's just a quote. But yeah, I think Jaire Alexander will find somewhere and he'll play fine.
Oh,
probably.
he's definitely going to have a team.
Yeah,
so
for sure, nobody's going to pass that up.
We want to make predictions on where he could go. Maybe Cincinnati.
I just hope he doesn't end up in Atlanta. I know we have some issues with cornerback depth.
AJ Terrell and Jaire Alexander, man.
God.
2 guys that could be good.
Yeah, 2 guys that are good like 4 weeks out of the year. I give AJ Terrell too much shit. I'm well aware of that, but I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins signed a 1-year deal with the Broncos.
Yeah,
I was so happy to see that. I was like,
that's a good.
Got to end up somewhere.
Yeah,
love that move for him. I think it's a fully guaranteed 1-year deal. Pretty small deal for him, but with a guy with his kind of injury history, that's just how it's going to go. But I'm just happy that he got a job. That's my biggest thing, and I think the Broncos are going to be awesome. He's not going to be the primary starter necessarily, or at least he doesn't have to be. So that's going to be, I think, an interesting thing. There's a lot of incentives in this contract as well that could boost it up, but a fully guaranteed 1-year deal sounds really good to me if I'm a running back.
Definitely.
Let's talk about the Shamar Stewart thing. Nathan, could you pull us up some info on this? So what we all already know, and what we've already discussed on this podcast, is that he was holding out on signing his rookie deal because the Bengals are trying to put some weird not guarantees, but voids in his contract that would void his entire contract, or like everything that they owe him if, due to injury or whatever. So what I have seen now is that he was at mandatory minicamp, and now he left. He has just left mandatory minicamp. Because he hasn't signed a deal. So there's nothing necessarily saying he has to be there because he's not on the team. And what he could do is just totally opt out. So he said that he wants a contract that Amarius Mims got, and every other first rounder, where there's no default clause that can void his future guaranteed money. Which I think this is well put. He just wants what is normal for a rookie deal. The Bengals are trying something here. And I don't know why you're trying it right now. I really don't get it. And if he wants to, he could just be like, no, I'm not going to play this season. I'm going to go train. I'm going to become better all year. And I'm just going to re-enter the draft. Somebody else can draft me. And guess what? You just wasted a first-round pick.
Yeah.
I don't see why you wouldn't.
I don't know what the Bengals are doing. Like, this is such
Really don't get it.
poverty organization activity.
Yeah.
And not only that, but like, I love how you brought up like he could go train for a year, but like I don't like the idea of someone getting drafted and then not playing next year.
It
and not
sucks.
because of an injury, because they just are holding out.
Yeah.
But I mean, he has every right to. I don't know. It's just silly. Even more reason to hate the Bengals.
For sure. I think the Bengals are severely misplaying this whole situation.
Definitely.
With Shamar Stewart. And the thing is a first-round pick is already a bet enough. So why are you making it harder on yourself?
Yeah.
Why are you making it work? What you're saying is that we bet on you enough and we trusted you enough to draft you in the first round, but we're also essentially betting on you to get hurt.
Yeah. Then why'd you draft him?
Yeah, exactly. If you want this default clause in your contract that would void these future guarantees if he gets hurt, if he does something wrong off the field, that makes it sound like you don't think he can get through these 4 years without doing something that would default that contract.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
And what else? What side of the ball does he play on?
Defense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're so screwed.
They
are so screwed.
They're allergic to making good moves on the defensive side of the ball. Trey Hendrickson is pissed. He's not at mandatory minicamp.
Yeah.
And you drafted an edge rusher to address the fact that Trey Hendrickson might not be on your team at the end of the offseason. And guess what? He's not going to play either.
Yeah.
They're so fucked.
So fucked.
They're so
But we got
so fucked.
wide receivers who drive Lamborghinis now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had wide receivers drive.
I mean, definitely, but two on
whether
the
they
same
can
team?
afford them or not.
I think T. Higgins and Jamal
Those
Chase
two can definitely afford them.
it.
But I'm talking about like guys like in like 2000
Yeah,
that were like buying Lamborghinis and
Countages.
flaming out the next year, and then they were driving their Lamborghini back and forth from the trailer park 2 years later.
Now they got a Camry.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's literally what like the third string wide receiver for the Chargers was doing in 2001, probably. Okay, we got something. Oh yeah, so the Steelers punter Corliss Waitman was wearing the number 8 jersey,
Mm-hmm.
and I would assume it didn't really cost him much money to switch, because that's the way it works. You got to buy out the NFL's stock of your jerseys. I would assume they didn't have a stock of Corliss Waitman jerseys.
Probably not.
Though Corliss Waitman is a fantastic punter. Don't get it wrong. But
Yeah,
what?
his arm.
Yeah, his arms are toned. Yeah, so Corliss very gladly gave Aaron Rodgers the number 8 jersey. He's only made $2 million in his career. Wow. But didn't take any money from Rodgers. Just gave him straight up the number 8 jersey, which is awesome. Oh no. Oh no. Deebo Samuel just got pulled up at training camp. Is he looking fat? Oh boy, he is. He is looking like a fullback. Good Lord, Deebo. Yeah, I said it a couple weeks ago. I said he's coming into training camp with some Zeke fat, bro. And boy, he's looking slow.
Dude, I could go out there and run around with him.
Dude, he's running like a blocking tight end. Holy fuck, Deebo. And he's too short for that, too. He's like 5'10", 5'11".
You need to be fast.
He's too short to look that fat.
Damn.
Brother. Yeah, but he's fat for an NFL wide receiver.
Yeah, like peak athlete.
He's on his James Harden shit. That's insane. No, don't put it in slow-mo. Do not put him in slow-mo. I don't need to see all that shit moving around. Man. Jesus.
He's got a couple months.
Yeah, he's got a few months. He's going to cut. He'll hit a crazy cut.
I had no idea Kelvin Benjamin was back in the
man,
league.
fuck.
Damn.
Shout out Kelvin Benjamin.
He was so good at one point.
He was. Yeah, in like 2013 when he was winning a national championship.
Wait, hang on.
No.
Scroll back down. Do we not remember Jerome Bettis?
Brother.
That's
He was a running back.
there is no comparison there.
No. Not at all.
Shut up, Mike Harvey. Oh. No. Click on his account.
Who
Who is
Mike
this
Harvey?
guy? Father, candidate for Florida's 14th congressional district.
This dude was a state senate nominee, and he's out here commenting on fucking Deebo Samuel training camp posts. Oh, he's got a podcast.
Hey, everybody in Florida's 14th congressional district, don't vote for Mike Harvey.
Facts.
He's not smart.
And this has nothing to do with his politics at all.
No.
Yeah,
I don't even know what his views are.
Me
But
neither.
I mean, let's
get Mike
whatever.
Harvey off my
Yeah.
screen. Luckily, I don't live in the 14th congressional district of Florida.
Yeah, same.
He's probably not related to Steve Harvey.
All right.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Last thing for the NFL, MetLife Stadium, notoriously the stealer of ACLs.
Yeah, just ask Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, just ask everyone. Ask
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Ask Aaron Rodgers, who got his Achilles torn there.
Yeah.
MetLife Stadium, known for ruining lives and careers, is going to install a real grass pitch. Not field, pitch, because it's for the Club World Cup.
Oh, lovely.
And then they're going to put it right back to turf at the end of the Club World Cup in July. And then next year, when the World Cup comes to the United States, MetLife Stadium, once again, going to be utilized. And it's going to go back to grass for the World Cup and then back to turf for football season. Just make it fucking grass.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? It's so stupid. Why can't we all just play on grass? Do these teams not make enough money?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
No,
I don't
it's
get
a
it.
New York franchise. You ought to think that they can.
They share the fucking stadium, too.
Yeah.
2 teams could pay for it. But what are we talking about? And, like, MetLife Stadium is getting used for every single round of the Club World Cup this year, including both semifinal matches and the final.
Wow.
Just keep it fucking grass.
Yeah.
Just take care of it. That's all. I don't get it at all. It's got to be much more of a hassle when you're a very popular stadium to be used for not just football, but for other sports. And you're just having to, like, change out the whole fucking ground
Yeah.
every year for the next 3 years? What are we talking about?
Well, I do know.
Crazy.
Isn't the turf a lot easier for them to switch it from Giants to Jets and back and forth, like because it's just turf pads?
Sure.
But I mean, I guess you could just repaint.
Yeah. There
probably
is
takes a long
literally a
time.
device that is just a giant thing that they roll out on the field and
Yeah.
it just paints it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's not that crazy. They have it for turf and for grass. Sure, it takes a lot more work to maintain the grass, but like
You're a NFL football
who fucking
team.
cares? Like, what are we talking? Money is not an object
Yeah.
to these teams.
Yeah.
It's crazy. One last thing, I just this hit my mind because I was talking about money not being an object. Jim Irsay passed away recently. I wasn't sure what they were going to do with the ownership. It has officially passed down to his 3 daughters, and they will have an equal split, which is awesome.
That is good.
Yeah, so shout out to the 3 of the Irsay daughters. I think only one of them has Irsay still in her name.
Yeah. There was did you see Javarius Ward facing some pretty bad felony charges, I think.
Nathan, bring those up real quick. I saw that something happened. I didn't have it in my notes, but this is not a good sign
No.
for him. And he's a Colt, isn't he?
Texan.
Texan. No, that's Jimmy Ward.
Oh.
You're thinking of
The other
Jimmy
guy.
Ward is the Texan. I knew it was a Ward, but I thought it was Chavarius as well. So don't
That's a
blame
good
me.
sign. Arrested at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that's a bat. Don't get arrested before 8 a.m.
No.
or I'm gonna just this is a fault of mine. If you get arrested before 8 a.m., you're probably guilty.
Man, held without bond.
It's not good. So you got
No.
arrested, Montgomery County Sheriff's Office at 5:38 in the morning. Got booked at 6:37. Being held without bond. The charge
I was just about
elevated
to
to
ask you
a
that.
third-degree felony family assault. So a third-degree domestic assault is if you attempt to cause serious bodily harm or knowingly cause physical pain or sickness to a domestic victim.
Mm,
It is a Class E felony. Ooh.
brutal.
Yeah. So yeah, Jimmy Ward, alleged bad guy. Maximum sentence of up to 5 years in prison. Yeah.
It's not good.
That's not good at
Not
all.
good at all.
Shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Bad guy, Jimmy Ward.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Don't want to.
I mean, being held without bond's pretty crap, though. Like, doesn't look good for you.
Yeah. That makes it look pretty bad. I mean, as awful as this sounds, typically a professional athlete could at least get bond.
Yeah. Was there anything else on the ESPN topics that we wanted to hit first, or because there was one more thing that I thought I saw that was interesting, just on the right side for the NFL. Oh yeah, Jermaine Pratt going to the Raiders.
Yeah, Jermaine Pratt to the Raiders was a recent signing.
That's a really good one too.
It is a good pickup. Oh yeah, the Tom Brady statue that the Patriots are constructing.
I mean,
going to be revealed on August 8th.
Duh. I have no problem with that.
Dude, if for Tom Brady, it should be as tall as the lighthouse that they've got there. I mean, he deserves everything.
Yeah.
What do we got?
I've done some research
Okay.
on the cost to put sod down in MetLife Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys like to know how much it would cost?
I'm gonna go with
for professional installation.
Yeah. I'm gonna go $50 million.
50? Go like 15 mil.
They gotta take the whole ground out.
This is just to put it in.
Okay. Oh, this is just the installation,
Yeah.
not the taking the whole turf out.
No,
Then
just the
putting.
installation.
Okay.
And I'm sure it'd still be way under what you're saying, by the way.
15 mil.
Okay.
Final guess.
It would cost about 15 grand.
There's no chance. There's no way it's that cheap. If you're
That
maybe
is-
maybe just to buy the sod, or you already bought the sod and it's just physically putting it into the stadium, but like you got to pay the employees.
Yeah, that was without cost of labor. That's just
that's
for
the
sod.
thing. The cost
It's
of labor
still not
is
going
the
to be
problem.
$1 million.
NFLPA needs to hire Rob Kardashian. Get some lawsuits coming.
Like
That'll be the only reason they change.
I don't
for
think that's
professional
realistic.
professional sod. It is under $1.75 per square foot.
I don't think that's
Wow.
I don't think that's
Playing
realistic.
surface is just over 8,000 square feet.
I don't think that's a realistic estimation, in my opinion.
What are your sources?
Google
We could
AI.
seed it. You could seed it for cheaper,
Sure.
but then you got to get the right dirt and keep
Yeah.
up with it and everything.
No, I'm not going to go off that. I'm sure it's much cheaper than fucking constantly switching it
Yeah.
if you just keep it grass. But
Or just, throw out some mulch. Let them go on the mulch.
yeah, they want to play on the recycled tires that they use for playgrounds now. Ugh.
Oh, man.
All right,
What do we got in the UCL?
I think we're done there. So let's do our little review here on this Champions League format. Just a little bit of pros and cons. That's what I've got. At least you're welcome to kind of take it however you like.
Okay.
But overall thoughts to start. I liked it.
Me too.
I think
Me
I
too.
was more on that end. I think it was a bit of a spectrum. There's certainly some things that would push me to the bad side with
Yeah.
this format, where maybe in past years it was a little bit better. But overall, I think I'm leaning to I like this format, and I can see where it's heading.
Yeah.
I can see how this is a good format going down.
Definitely.
Like going down the line.
I think maybe the group, the league phase, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the league phase kind of incentivizes bigger teams with a lot of depth to
It
not try as much in the league phase.
That could be true.
Because PSG, they were
awful.
not on my radar
No.
to win the Champions League.
And that's one of my pros, is that there's enough of a process within this kind of extended league phase and this bigger field to allow a team to kind of get hot and make a reasonable run.
Yeah.
But it also weeds out kind of the contenders versus the pretenders kind of thing.
Yeah.
It draws it out enough to where it's like, just because you got hot for a couple weeks doesn't mean you're going to win the Champions League or like get to the quarterfinal.
Yeah.
But I think the slow buildup of the competition allowed teams to make January moves. That's what I liked. And it not just affect them for the knockout stage.
Yeah.
You were able to make January moves and potentially save yourself from elimination, which is what PSG did.
Yeah.
PSG made January moves. They won their last 2 matches coming out of the transfer window,
Then they won the whole thing.
and they won the whole thing.
Yeah.
In the past, the group stage finished halfway through December, and knockout stages started halfway through February. So there was a big gap in between.
Yeah.
The problem with that for me was that month and a half break between match week 6 and 7 in the league phase made this league phase feel like it never ended,
Yeah.
because they didn't finish the league phase until the start of February.
I remember
and then
that.
we had the knockout stage, and then it had the round of 16.
Yeah. I bet the players like that, though, and the managers.
Well,
like
the thing
break.
is that break is when the schedule picked up for them in their domestic leagues.
Yeah.
So you didn't really get a break. You just weren't playing Champions League soccer.
Yeah.
But it drew it out more.
Mm-hmm.
And it also went to playing every single week when you get into that knockout stage.
Yeah.
So that's the other
Which I
part.
liked.
Which, yeah, I think for the fans is much better than alternating weeks and everything.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think one of the biggest pros for me was that there's more variety of matchups in the league phase because you're not playing a team twice.
Yeah.
So you play 8 matches against 8 different opponents, which I think is awesome.
Mm-hmm. It was nice.
And I think it also allowed us for more top-tier matchups every week.
Yeah.
Because, there's plenty of times where a group draw would be like, Bayern Munich and then just like 3 bums from like the middle of nowhere in Europe.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, that's not fun because I don't really care to see Bayern play them and I really don't want to see them go head to head.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And so like that wasn't as fun in the past, whereas now it's like they have like the different tiers within the league. So like you play 2 of this tier, 2 of this tier, 2 of this tier, and 2 of this tier.
It's perfect.
It works very well.
It really is.
It really does work very well. My cons mainly come from the fact that a little bit is about how there was maybe too many matches, though, because I think there was a lack of surprise eliminations in the league phase. I mean, Leipzig was really the only surprising team that didn't move on.
Yeah.
Because of this expanded field and there being more matches. I mean, 24 teams stay alive out of 30.
Yeah.
Or 32. And so there wasn't a lot of surprise teams that got knocked out. It was pretty much all just like these random Eastern European teams that nobody expected to move on in the first place.
But it was still fun within the build-up to see like teams like PSG and Man City like just so low.
Yes.
That was entertaining.
Yes. And I think that part was great. And I think what I also liked was that, what I didn't like was that a good start or a good finish doesn't carry as much weight as it did in the initial group stage
really
because there's more games.
Mm-hmm.
So like a team like Brest, they had an outstanding start. I think they won their first 5 matches or something of the league phase. Then they kind of, just
tapered off,
failed their way out. And like they end up finishing, I think 20th, something like that.
Yeah.
They got a knockout phase or a playoff phase, I think is what they call it. The playoff phase. They got one of those matches, but then it was, they played PSG first round. They got fucked.
Yeah.
So like it made for, yes, you could have a good start or yes, you could have a good finish and maybe you'll make it in, but then you'll get weeded out that next time.
Yeah.
I think that part kind of hurts and kind of helps.
Yeah.
Because it does, like I said, it reveals the contenders and the pretenders. But at the same time, let's say you started 3-0 and then you just lose 4 matches, you're done.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere.
No.
So, like, that part is kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing. But I think my biggest con was what I had mentioned, where it's just that month and a half break between match week 6 and 7 made it drag on so much. And I think it really impacted the teams that got hot in those matches leading up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, imagine you start off the first 4 match weeks, and maybe you've got like 4 points. Draw and a win in the first matches, and you're like, oh, fuck. Then you win match week 5 and 6, and it's like all of a sudden you're kind of rolling.
Then you go on a huge break.
And then you go on a huge break.
Yeah.
And then you come back for 7 and 8, and it's like all that momentum, it's gone.
Yeah.
You just lost like 5 straight in the Prem. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing kind of sucks. But overall, I think when it came to the variety of the league phase, the top tier matchups every week, we still got to the point where in the quarterfinals, there was really nobody that didn't have a chance except maybe Aston Villa.
Yeah.
But I mean, in past years, like Copenhagen made the quarterfinal.
I don't even remember that.
No, they made the round of 16, sorry, and they lost to Bayern last year. But there's a few times where it's like, look, I don't need to see PSV make a quarterfinal.
Yeah.
But like Benfica is a team where they kind of toe the line, where it's like, they could maybe have a year where they go out there and do it.
For sure.
But also, they just weren't going to be that team this year.
No.
And like,
they never had a chance.
no, and like Sporting Sporting loses their manager
And they're-
during the league phase,
Yeah.
and they just
Collapse.
fucking trip and ate shit
Yeah.
for the rest of the league phase, and then they get knocked out, which was nice. And once again, I think that part where it's like they had a good start, things don't go their way with their staff,
Yeah.
then they play bad and they're out of there.
Yeah.
Which
Didn't they have a decent Europa League run after that, though?
potentially,
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I know Gyökeres never stopped scoring.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, he didn't. He's fucking.
I got a pro.
Yeah.
Both of our teams are in it next year.
Yes, sir. That is a huge pro.
Yes.
And I think as well, it being such a grind rewards depth, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
It rewarded the teams with depth. The problem that I think other people that are maybe a little more ingrained in it, maybe have like a real rooting interest in
Mm-hmm.
it, wouldn't like is if you were like, a Bratislava fan
Yeah.
and you're like, yes, we made the Champions League.
Yeah.
Time to get butt fucked by every rich team in the world.
Yeah. Who had amazing January transfer windows in the middle of the league phase.
Exactly. In
Yeah.
the middle of the league phase, they spent $100 million on their squad. So it's like, okay, yeah, you kind of got screwed there. So it didn't necessarily address what I think the goal in mind was help out the other teams, give more teams a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And what it really did was give more time for the teams with the money to bounce back and
To
still
use
make
it.
the knockout stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the past, I mean, like think about Manchester United last year.
Yeah.
They got drew in their draw. They had Bayern Munich and like I think Galatasaray and somebody else
Yeah.
in their group. And so like when they flamed out, they got fucked.
Yeah.
They got so fucked. And it happened all the time. I mean, Newcastle flamed out that second half. They
Mhm.
played well the first 3 matches. They played like shit the last 3. They don't make it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it goes.
Yeah.
And it also eliminates the group of death.
Yes.
That's not a factor. You can get a tough draw
yeah.
for the league phase, but like you're gonna have a couple gimmies if you're a great team.
Yeah.
Whereas that group of death from last year, where it was Newcastle, PSG, AC Milan, and Dortmund.
Yep.
I mean, what? How does that even happen?
Yeah.
So it eliminates that, which I think makes the league phase a little more entertaining for everybody.
Yeah.
Because for as many groups of death there are, that means there's some team that just has a cakewalk.
Yeah.
But you don't have that.
And
in
it could be
league
one of
phase,
the
which I
kind of
love.
mid-tier Champions League teams that
Yeah.
has that cakewalk.
Yeah.
So,
And the other thing for me, when we're talking this season specific, was the teams at the top all kind of did it different ways. I mean, we talked about Inter all throughout this. They give up 1 goal in the league phase.
Yeah.
And then you talk about Barcelona. They scored a fuckload of goals. And same with Liverpool. And then Dortmund was scoring a ton of goals. I mean, Rafinha and Serhou Guirassy were the 2 leading goal scorers at the end of the Champions League.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But like, and then you have like the run that Brest was on, and like Lille got a first round bye.
Yeah.
Things like that. Monaco played really well. I don't know if they necessarily moved on. I can't remember that. But like, all 4 French teams moved on.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So like we got to see that cool thing, but otherwise, there was still shortcomings. I mean, the small club still doesn't have a chance.
Yeah.
But that's just how this works.
Unfortunately.
Exactly. It's the Champions League. It's the best of the best from around.
But
it
it did.
The best in fucking Austria is not better than the 3rd best in England.
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen.
It did expand though, right?
Yes.
So you have technically more bad
chances.
teams
Yeah.
can get to play.
Theoretically.
Yeah. So, but with all that being said, in between the pros and cons is still the fact that
That is
sorry,
hilarious.
it's very distracted. There's still the trope that it was just the first time.
Yes, exactly. I would venture to say that as one of the probably few Champions League / college football fans, I think this was a huge plus when you compare the first year of this to the first year of the 12-team playoff in college
really
football.
good point, yeah.
This was 1,000 times better than what we got there.
Yeah.
I will say that with certainty.
Yeah.
Anything else on the Champions League phase?
No. I did watch the Nations League final.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How was it?
I mean, It's just crazy to see Ronaldo scoring important goals in 2025.
It is crazy.
I mean, he didn't finish the game.
Yeah.
Like normally, you would want him in an extra time game, but I think he got subbed out in like the 70th minute.
Yeah.
For Rafael Leao, who came in against a bunch of tired fullbacks and just was cutting him up.
Yeah.
It was cool to see the tactics because after like 15 minutes of Rafael Leao, they subbed in a fresh fullback, and then he was kind of getting shut down.
Yeah.
It was really fun to watch. Vitinha and Nuno Mendes, the two Champions League winners that play for Portugal, are just like unplayable right now. Like two of the best players in the world, easily.
Yeah. They're just riding off that confidence, man.
Yeah.
You win a treble?
Yeah.
And then the next week you're playing the Nations League semifinal and final. I mean, you're going to be rolling.
But it was a great game, and Spain is still crazy.
Oh, they're awesome.
Cucurella is a 1,000% a different player for Spain. He's still good with Chelsea.
I
but
love
he's
when a guy is like that.
unbelievable.
I love when a guy is just a totally different player when he's playing for his country.
Yeah.
It's crazy
It makes sense.
to see.
It makes sense.
Obviously, in the positive way, there's plenty of guys who fucking suck when they play for their country. I mean, we talk about Erling Haaland. There's like one Erling Haaland highlight, from his international play.
Lewandowski kind of struggles, for Poland sometimes.
Yeah, but I think that's for both of them. It comes down to not being surrounded by as good of a team as they
talent.
are at the club level. But no, I think in like Lamine Yamal. So much fun to watch, just at all times. He never stops.
He didn't watch their trophy presentation for Portugal, though. He's the only player that just walked back to the bench.
I mean, he's a kid.
Yeah, I guess.
He's literally 17 years old. I'll cut him some slack. He probably didn't want to watch that. I'm sure he'll be presented plenty more trophies. I mean, he already won a Euro, so this bullshit tournament does not matter to him at all. And he already knocked out Ousmane Dembele, so that's all he wanted to do anyways.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, let's talk about the Club World Cup. I don't really want to. I mean, it's a cash grab by FIFA. So this is kind of an interesting thing that was in that Ringer article I talked about, is that since Gianni Infantino took over FIFA in 2016, he has been trying to change how the World Cup works.
Make
in general.
money.
Yeah, so he wanted the World Cup to be an every 2 years thing,
no.
which I don't like.
No,
it ruins the allure, in my opinion.
Yes,
because Copa America and Europe in the Euros are awesome.
Yeah, and they break up the 2
exactly.
years.
Exactly.
They
so
break up the World
why
Cup.
would we get rid of that? And then he wanted to move to 3 years, every 3 years, but that creates an odd schedule because the Euros and Copa America and whatnot go on a 2 year thing, or on a every other, or like 2 years off the World Cup thing. So like it works. So it just didn't work. So instead, they just decided we have to make the Club World Cup important.
Yep. And
Even
push
though
it through
never
every
has
media
been.
outlet ever.
And it is like being forced down our throats to the point where they're pausing the transfer window this summer for it. They are gonna exclusively show it on fucking DAZN. I don't know why. You can get the subscription for free and just watch these games this summer, but like nobody has a DAZN subscription or has had a DAZN subscription in years.
Grayson texted me about it a couple hours pre-recording, and I said, "What is that network?"
It is literally like just for boxing pay-per-view. That is it. That is the only thing I ever see is on DAZN.
Did you just say pay-per-view?
Yes. Yeah, people still use pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I mean, the UFC still does it, but I just, I don't know. I don't like DAZN at all. And I know this actually has nothing to do with this, but I did see something interesting. Crystal Palace, their co-owner, also owns like a ton of teams around the world.
Okay.
But he's an American guy who I think used to be the chairman of Fubo TV. And Crystal Palace has to prove that he has nothing to do with their decision making at the club for them to play in the Europa League.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's annoying.
Yeah. Very weird. I don't know what the reason is. I think he might own a team that's also in it, and also because of his direct association to a different media outlet than the one that owns the media rights. I think that's part of it too. Very weird. That's totally besides the point. It just hit my mind. Let's go through the teams that are playing.
Oh, here we go.
In the Club World Cup.
We got some good names in here, right?
I'm sure you've heard of all of these to the non-soccer fans that listen to this podcast, or the soccer fans that listen to this podcast. And we're going to start off with a heater. Actually, 3 straight heaters because they all have the same prefix. Al Ali from Egypt. Al Ain from the United Arab Emirates. It's specifically in Abu Dhabi. Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. I'm sure you guys know that one.
Yeah,
they once had Neymar. Hey, fun thing about Al Hilal. Apparently, the Saudi PIF, a constant fixture in this podcast, really wanted that extension done for Cristiano Ronaldo at Al Nassr because they wanted to immediately loan him to Al Hilal to play in the Club World Cup, and then they were going to send him back at the end of the Club World Cup.
That makes me really mad.
That fucking pisses me off so much. So much. Okay, you guys actually have heard of this team. Atletico Madrid. Look at that. A team you can recognize. Auckland City out of New Zealand, the only Oceania representative.
Surprised we don't have like Melbourne FC.
You would think
like
that Australia would, but whatever the Champions League equivalent is of that region, they only got one choice, and it had to be their winningest team in that Champions League. Which is Auckland City FC, who I believe has won it or at least made the final in 3 of the last 4 years. So
interesting.
Part of the way that you could qualify for this was it was all based off of your confederation's Champions League equivalent or whatever you call it, whatever your confederation's tournament is for clubs. Your success in that from 2021 through 2024, I believe, was how you qualified for this.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Cool.
Don't ask me. We'll go through more teams. Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, we know where that one is. Botafogo in Brazil. Boca Juniors in Argentina. River Plate in Argentina. Yes, they have both.
That's...
Yeah.
That could end up being a pretty... Yeah.
There's also 2 teams from Mexico. Pachuca. I don't know what it actually is. And Monterrey.
Sergio Ramos.
Yeah, Monterrey. And then more Brazilian teams. Flamengo, sorry. Flamengo, I think, is a totally different team. And then Chelsea, going to be in there. Shout out to Chelsea, one of the 2 English representatives. Esperance de Tunis, also known as ES Tunis, is the best team in Tunisia. Fun fact. They're going to be there and probably lose quickly, considering they are in Group D with Chelsea. And then you got Bayern Munich and Inter and Porto, which are actual teams we've heard of. Salzburg, another team you've certainly heard of. Fluminense in Brazil. You got Inter Miami, who is the controversial attendee. Juventus, LAFC. Then you have Mamelodi Sundowns from South Africa, Manchester City, Palmeiras, another Brazilian representative, PSG, Real Madrid, Benfica, Seattle Sounders, and you got a couple teams that nobody's heard of here. Ulsan HD, Korean team, Urawa Red Diamonds from Japan, and then Wydad.
Wydad I have heard of.
Oh, interesting.
They're
have from Morocco.
Very, very intense fan base.
I'm sure.
I forget whoever their rival is over there, but their games are insane.
Yeah, I mean,
between each other.
Morocco in general, an interesting place.
Yeah,
very alluring, I would say. Nathan's pulling us up a video.
Yeah, there you
go. They made Goku. I don't know anything about.
Yeah,
Dragon
those are the
Ball Z.
Wydad fans.
That's pretty awesome. Wow, that's sick. That is really cool.
Yeah.
Shout out to Wydad. Shout out to Morocco. Fun fact: if you commit a crime and you go to Morocco, they won't come track you down.
Look at them bouncing in that video there.
Wow.
Got the flares.
Yeah, I need to see more flares. Sorry. Oh, well, this is at a basketball game.
Ooh.
Is that indoors? Oh, this is outdoors for soccer. Yeah, they're commonly known as Wydad Casablanca, by the way. Whoa. Yeah, they got some insane ultras.
Yeah.
Shout out
also,
to them.
stadium looks like downtown area too.
Yeah, it does. It does. Morocco is such an interesting place. There's the flares.
There it is.
That's what I want to see. That's what I like to see. I'm not going to say what Nathan just said.
Cut that out.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody could subtly hear that in the background. Yeah, that looks like fun. Yeah.
Marvelous.
Yeah, shout out to Wydad Casablanca. I'll certainly be paying attention to see where they play and see if the Ultras can travel.
Whoever
doubt it.
the RCA team is, they wear green. I think that's their rival.
Gotcha.
I don't know what they're called though.
Me neither.
I've never seen a tifo move.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's suspended and just goes
Sliding.
across. It's pretty awesome.
That's pretty sick.
They're
in
the middle
of the game.
Middle of the game.
Also haven't seen a tifo in the middle of the game either.
Yeah, you don't see that a lot.
Love that.
Are they playing Flamengo in the
Who also
Club
has
World
a
Cup? They have
very
some
intense fan
insane
base.
Fans. Okay.
Wow. Love that.
I'm sure it'll be boring as fuck though when they're playing it in Houston.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
And our city's just on lock.
If we have Pachuca versus Monterrey in Atlanta, I mean, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Houston, if they have those teams matching up in Houston, we're fucked.
Curfew in Atlanta's 4:30 p.m.
Yeah. It'd be bad. It'd be really bad. So yeah, I have no clue how any of these teams qualified for this, really. It's all seemingly a cash grab by FIFA. I know the MLS wasn't happy about Inter Miami, which is kind of crazy. The MLS are the ones that are mad that Inter Miami made it in the way they did because they won the Supporter Shield. So they were the best team in the regular season. But the MLS wants you to be like, I love the playoffs. Nobody loves the fucking MLS playoffs.
Wait, scroll back up. Sorry,
What?
WizKid FC?
What is that? That's just
okay.
his fan base.
Sorry.
Shout out to WizKid, though. Fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic Afrobeats artist.
Thank you for introducing me.
Yeah. Yeah, the MLS not happy with Inter Miami being the last team included as well. So there was 31 teams that qualified based on the actual reasonings.
Yeah.
And then Inter Miami just makes it in. I wonder how. I wonder why.
Probably because they have, like 5 Barcelona legends on their team?
Yeah, and they're owned by David Beckham and
Yeah.
and it's Inter Miami. So yeah, for teams to qualify, they had to primarily win their respective continental club competitions over a 4-year period. So, once again, kind of an odd way to choose it because teams like Arsenal, Liverpool, Barcelona, not here.
Included.
Not here because they don't qualify because they are not the winningest Champions League teams in their country since 2021.
How did Chelsea get to go then?
Did you guys not make a final in this range?
Oh, is that what it... Okay, that's what it's talking about. I
Yeah.
completely disregarded what was on the screen.
Yep.
So it's our final for Manchester City is the reason that we're playing in the Club World Cup.
Yes. And the same reason Manchester City's there
Yeah.
is because they won it last year. But Liverpool, who was undisputedly better than the two of those clubs this
Yeah.
year, doesn't make it in.
But they've
Very
won a
interesting.
Champions League recently.
Fuck if I know, dude.
Okay, yeah.
Like I said, I don't know how these teams qualified. There's restrictions on the number of teams per country, of course, and per confederation.
The longer that we talk about this, the more that
It gets
it's gonna
more
make me
confusing.
mad and confusing.
Yes.
It really, like you put it better, it is such a cash grab.
It
and
is.
when two sports fans like you and I, who actually care about the players, care about watching the sport played at the
Yeah.
highest level, it really does get in the way of that.
Yes, it does. I mean, if you really wanted to do the Club World Cup, you would say, sure, every confederation can have some teams, but like let's weigh it a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's just realize that maybe UEFA needs the most people.
Mm-hmm.
That would make the most sense.
Yeah.
I mean, who all is from UEFA that's in here? Atletico Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, Chelsea, Bayern, Salzburg, Inter, Porto, Juventus, Man City, Real Madrid. That's all. 10 teams from UEFA. UEFA should have 16 of the spots in this tournament.
Yeah.
Oh, Tottenham just hired a new coach. Who is it? Thomas Frank. Don't know him. I'm sure I'll talk shit about him all leading up to the year, and then he'll play great.
Yeah.
What? Well, I said they'll play great. That's what I was saying. But yeah, this is very confusing to me, but it's also in Atlanta. The host country automatically qualifies a team. They have 3. I know they got to choose, and the real bullshit was when Inter Miami won the Supporter Shield, Gianni Infantino was in the building and went up on stage to announce that they qualified for the Club World Cup.
Oh, so the whole game was fixed.
Probably.
Essentially. I mean, like that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what a bummer, man.
It's such bullshit. I can't stand FIFA.
And there's definitely an element to like
there's a cap of 2 countries per or 2 clubs per country, which just isn't true. Meaning that a country can only have 2 representatives in the tournament unless more than 2 clubs from that country win their confederation's top club competition. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's literally how you qualify. It makes no fucking sense. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
I think we should be done with this
This
conversation.
sucks.
Unless there was something else.
There's a couple matches in Atlanta that I want to shout out.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, on Monday, June 16th, Chelsea versus LAFC. Luke, I'd love it if you went there and reported back.
Okay. I'll try.
You know, if you feel like it. And then 3 days later, Inter Miami versus Porto on the 19th. So, of course, it's going to be bumping.
Yeah.
Just because Messi's there.
Mm-hmm.
And then on June 22nd, Manchester City versus Al Ain out of the UAE. And then we also have a round of 16 match and a quarterfinal match,
Nice.
which is cool. I love that the Atlanta soccer culture has gotten more acclaim.
Yeah,
and it's obviously grown so much just because of Atlanta United.
definitely.
But it's starting to get more love on a national standpoint. Obviously, internationally, nobody gives a fuck.
No.
But from a national standpoint, everybody realizes that Atlanta is one of the, I would say it's like a top 5 or 6 soccer market in the country.
Oh, definitely.
It's definitely gotten
completely
to
agree.
that point.
And I would say even though it's top 5, it's still underrated. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Atlanta
Yeah.
United's average attendance, they're
It's
up there
unbelievable.
and, internationally up there.
Yeah.
So it's incredible.
Yeah, it's great. It's
Yeah.
great. Love that the city of Atlanta is embracing soccer, just not soccer that I really care to watch. All right. That does it for me with the Club World Cup. I think it sucks. I'm gonna be forced to pay attention to it. But you know what time it is. Luke's showing it right now on his watch. I see it on mine as well, and the other one, and the third one as well. I got 2 on this wrist. It's questions time. Our favorite time of the show. Nathan has been preparing these questions while we've been recording. And let's hear them. What do we got, Nathan?
All right. So, first one. Saw this on Twitter. Thought it'd be a fun thing to talk about, even though I have a feeling which way you guys are going to go.
Okay.
Is Acuna's 40-70 or Shohei's 50-50 more impressive?
Shohei's 50-50.
Mm.
50 home runs is more impressive than 20
Yeah.
more stolen bases.
50-50.
and 10
So,
less home runs.
Twitter's actually going the other direction, saying that it's not as hard when all you do is DH every day.
That's fair.
Good point.
Acuna also played the outfield
Yeah.
the entire season.
That's fair. But
yeah.
And
when I'm
people
looking at
wanted-
the actual
people in
hitting
the comments
numbers,
were saying that Shohei's doing it while pitching. Shohei
He
has
did
never
not.
thrown an
No.
inning as a Dodger.
No.
In case anyone was
he's not
wondering.
doing it while pitching.
So,
No.
no.
If he did do it while pitching,
then
then
yes.
his would way more.
Yeah. 50-50 with like a
230
230 ERA.
strikeouts.
20-20 is impressive if you're pitching.
Yeah,
still.
exactly.
10-10 is impressive.
No, I think in today's game, especially, the 20 more stolen bases. Ask me if I would rather have a player get 20 more stolen bases, or I think it was really 13 more home runs than Acuna hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me the fucking home
I'm
runs
taking Acuna's just 'cause
every day of the
at
week.
least he's not supposed to just be a hitter.
I know, but to me, I'm going off the value that those stat lines gave to the team. And Acuna
I didn't
stealing
ask what
70
was more
bases.
impressive for their team.
I'm just saying. That's what I think's more impressive is helping your team because it's a team sport. And
Personal
Shohei Ohtani's 50-50, which I think was actually 53-53, something like that. And I think Acuna was 40-73 or something like that, 40-71.
there was something.
But I think Shohei's brought more value to his team, is my opinion.
Yeah. Which I guess if you're making that point, I think Acuna's is more entertaining.
Is stolen bases more entertaining than home runs?
I do like
don't
stolen
think
bases.
so.
I like stolen bases.
I like
but
stolen bases, but I'm not watching them on fucking ESPN every day.
I don't know. Watching like Chandler Simpson just like take
Chandler
off.
Simpson sucks dick.
Yeah, but when he steals or any fast guy,
Yeah, I know. That's great.
Pete Crow, watching him steal a
Yeah.
base, it's like
It's great.
it's like.
But
God
that's
damn,
not
the
what's
head
coming
hasn't
up in
touched
my
the ball
feed.
yet.
That's not what they show on the top plays on SportsCenter. But they'll show
a home run on
they do.
SportsCenter. That is lame.
They do.
SportsCenter's gone so deep.
Yeah, SportsCenter sucks.
That's
dick.
talk for
I
another.
don't watch SportsCenter anymore. But
I might put that in next week's questions. I'm the study of sports.
SportsCenter was great when I was like in middle school.
And rest in peace, John Brinkus.
Yes.
Facts, sports science.
I have brought the idea up to Grayson that maybe we should do a full research diving episode into something and do a tribute
That'd be
John
cool.
Brinkus sports science
Yeah.
video.
Yeah.
That would be
'Cause
cool.
It would be so fun.
I don't know what the fuck.
I don't know.
we'd do.
Yeah, I don't know what we would do, but it'd be fun.
Yeah.
All
We
right,
could
next
do one on
question.
Gavin.
I'm not really a science guy.
Yeah, I don't understand it though.
Yeah.
I mean, he threw the ball pretty hard, so let's
And
talk about
spins
it.
like crazy.
Pretty cool arm angle.
Yeah. The people.
We could get an overlay.
yeah.
If
The
I
people
have
listening will
Video
find
on
out
a
who
tripod,
Gavin
I can
is,
get an overlay.
hopefully in the next month or so.
Yeah.
When the
something
video
like that.
comes out. Would you rather always hit a home run on an 0-2 count or always strike somebody out on an 0-2 count?
Home run.
Yeah, home run.
Thing is, you have to get to an 0-2. If you have
Yeah,
1-2,
just fucking swing.
if you have
Yeah.
1-2,
Just fucking
though,
Swing twice.
hold
and
a
then
bunt out and miss the ball on purpose.
free home run every time.
Yeah,
what if I change that to a 3-0 count?
Yeah, for a pitcher, you have to throw 2 strikes.
that would be different.
So you have to get a.
If it's on a 3-0 count, yeah.
You got to get to a 3-0 count.
Then
and
I'm
you'll
thinking pitcher.
Always hit a
Yeah.
home run.
Then I'm thinking pitcher.
yeah,
But if
same.
you're a pitcher, you have to get 2 strikes with no
Because
balls, and then
that's
you'll
the thing.
always strike.
Yeah.
3-0 is way harder to get to than 0-2 if you're a hitter.
yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
10,000 times harder. Like
One, it's one more pitch, and
Yeah,
2, it's
not up to
it's
you.
not up to you. There's
yeah,
nothing
it's up to the
you.
pitcher. Yeah, I think if it was 3-0 count, that's a better conversation.
What would you pick then?
I would go pitcher.
You'd just rather strike him out.
Yeah, if I could strike you out on okay, so it's either
Doesn't
I have
matter
the
what you throw,
chance
you're
to
gonna
strike
strike him out.
if I throw a ball, whatever. If I throw a ball, I have the chance to
Yes.
strike you out still. But if I get you to 0-2, I'm guaranteed a strikeout.
Yes.
That's fucking huge.
Yeah. But if you're a hitter and you can stay patient and the pitcher's having a bad day
Yeah.
and gets you to 3-0,
Yeah.
you're going to hit a home run.
Yeah.
But only problem is, too, you're hitting 3-0 home runs, which makes you look like a fucking asshole.
Yeah. And the other thing too is that you only come up to bat 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
If you're the pitcher and I'm striking you out 0-2 every time,
You're just mowing
so much
through
more
lineups.
opportunity.
yeah, so much more opportunity to utilize that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it gets me paid in the end or not.
Yeah, I mean,
like-
if you're doing the 3-0, you might be like Aaron Judge hitting a down by 30 home run.
Yeah.
yeah.
Those are my favorite tweets now. It's Aaron Judge home runs, and it's like cuts the deficit to 7.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it's in the short porch, and it's like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it went
This is great.
355.
Yeah, 355 solo shot to cut the lead to 7 in the bottom
Yeah.
of the ninth, and it's like,
Chris Paul 3 to
Nice.
cut the lead to 42 or whatever that was.
yeah. All right, next question. If your NFL team was to bring back an old jersey, which one would you want?
Bumblebees.
I
We
knew you
don't.
were going to say that.
We don't have much to bring back,
That's
but
true.
it's just the black, like Deion Sanders era,
They're just
which we already
solid
have brought
black.
back.
Yeah.
I just like the helmet. The old
The
helmet
old
is
logo?
1,000 times better than the new helmet.
With the what is it? The like smooth black with the old logo.
Yeah, it's more like a lot more straight lines,
Yeah.
a little
My,
bit thinner.
My second one would be look up the Steelers like gold numbers, gold.
Hate that jersey.
Why?
I think it
More
is
than the Bumblebee jersey?
ugly. I can get along.
The
I-
Bumblebee
you know,
Gold
was
helmet.
pretty fucking bad.
Yellow helmet. Oh, dude, the Bumblebee's sick.
I think that you're talking about like the gold on gold, right?
It's like
Steelers
black
jersey?
with like the yellow numbers
Oh wait, maybe I'm
with
thinking
the
about-
yellow helmet.
Not the yellow with the black numbers.
I don't like yellow with the black. That was a color rush, wasn't it?
So there's this.
We have never worn that jersey.
Okay, so that's just
That's
fake.
never
They
happened.
sold it at Macy's though.
And on NFL Shop.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It must be some sort of.
And it's a
alternate or
James
something.
Conner.
That's the. What was that? The color rush one at one point.
No.
The
Oh.
Jarvis Jones jersey on eBay.
I think that's a
Wow.
That looked like
That's
a Pro
old,
Bowl
old.
jersey or some
Yeah.
shit.
No, you haven't found it yet. Just
No?
go to images.
Wait, we just.
Or actually, that
show it this.
Palomalu jersey's it right there.
That
This
one? Okay, no,
Yeah.
I don't mind now. I was thinking
That's not
something
bad.
else.
It's just yellow numbers instead of white numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I was thinking about a Packers jersey.
$300.
I mean, it's an authentic Troy Polamalu jersey from.
We got any Bumblebee
2008.
jerseys in this list right here? Maybe not.
What the fuck is that?
That one is real.
Those are real?
I think that one's real.
Do they wear them in a game?
I don't know.
I hope not.
Yeah.
You can use that jersey on Madden though. I do know
That
that.
one's sick.
Crazy.
1975 long sleeve Jack Lambert
It's like
jersey.
that's quarter sleeve.
That's tough.
Demonic jersey right there.
Jack Lambert was a bad motherfucker.
He
too.
was awesome. No teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, it's crazy.
I can see Luke buying this one.
Heinz Ward.
Yeah.
Love that. What Steelers jerseys do you have?
Oh, Luke, this one would be sick.
I wanted
Terry.
the Terry Bradshaw one for a long time. I have a Jerome like 90s jersey with
Okay.
like the more bubbly letters. I have a Marquise Pouncey with the throwback as
That's
well.
sick.
Away Ben Roethlisberger, home Antonio Brown, Bumblebee Ben Roethlisberger. I think that's it. I don't have a defensive player. I used to wear Palomalu when I was a kid. He was my
Yeah.
first ever jersey. I don't have one that fits me anymore, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Falcons just don't have
You
great
can't still
jerseys.
fit
the one
your
on the right's pretty cool.
Children's
That
small.
Dion one?
Yeah,
We barely ever really used that jersey.
I like that jersey.
It was like a very short stint.
These are so terrible.
They're so fucking bad. Why the fuck is there a Brett Favre option?
There's two of them.
He didn't play a snap. He was on the team for like a couple months.
Scroll down. That hoodie jersey just screams like I'm from Stockbridge, Georgia.
Yeah, I can't deny that one.
That's awesome.
Or I'm in high
Shout out to Michael
Yeah.
Harris. Michael
Yeah.
Harris from Stockbridge High School.
school. All right, next question.
Really?
Yeah.
hmm
Shout out. That's pretty cool.
If you could bring back any player in MLB history that played at least one game for your team and put them into the lineup today in their prime, who would you bring back?
Is that MLB history?
Yep.
Okay. Just had to make sure I had the right.
So they have to be
league.
a legend from my team.
Doesn't even have to be a legend.
But could it be in their prime?
Yes, they're in their prime.
Okay.
But they could have only played one game for your team. Or they had to at least play one. We'll say that.
I mean, I feel like I'd be with how the Braves are playing right now. I'd probably be stupid to not pick like Greg Maddux, but
Yeah, you
or
probably-
Hank Aaron.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Well,
just
you
need
probably
to
need a pitcher. If
probably need a
anything.
pitcher. Well, I mean, we can't really score runs, and like Chris Sale,
Maybe
plays
like a
pretty well.
Mariano Rivera if he had played for the Braves. Something.
I mean,
or maybe a
that's all
Craig
you-
Kimbrell.
I want to say that. Did Trevor Hoffman end up playing a game for the Braves? No. Billy Wagner played for the Braves.
Billy Wagner played for the Braves?
Yes.
For how long?
I think maybe a couple years, maybe just 1 year. I think
Luke-
he ended his
Look,
career.
what's your thought process? What position are you looking for?
You guys
who
need
you
a closer. You
thinking?
need Mariano Rivera.
Yeah. My head first went to Alex Rodriguez for infield help.
Mhm.
In 2010, Bobby Wagner was a Brave. Last season of his career.
Wow.
Or sorry, not Bobby Wagner. Billy. Bobby Wagner, not a baseball player. Though I'd love him in Atlanta.
Yeah, I'd probably either take A-Rod or Mo if it was me.
That's fair.
So you
Yeah.
don't want Jeter.
No.
Good.
I feel like we have that covered. Like, Volpe is just good enough.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, third
That's
base is the obvious hole, so
Yeah.
that makes a lot of
So
sense.
Grayson, who are you picking?
Yeah, I think I'd have to just go Hank. We need the
Yeah,
bat.
just to get the bat.
Throw him in left field.
Or, like, I wonder how better the Yankees would be if they had Yogi Berra in 2025.
Maybe. Or like Lou Gehrig.
Yeah. Mickey
Well.
Mantle.
Yeah. What? Don't say well when I say Lou Gehrig. We're talking about his prime. Not when he has ALS.
Jesus.
That's fucked up, Nathan.
I didn't say anything. All I
Yeah.
said was well.
You guys know the story of Lou Gehrig getting into the lineup for the Yankees?
No,
No.
Like, because he is the one that had like the streak, right? The hitting streak.
I think so. No, that was DiMaggio.
No, DiMaggio. Then maybe that's who I was thinking of. Was Joe DiMaggio and how he got?
Yeah,
It's
he's
the
got the
Wally.
56
Like the term
streak.
Wally Pip comes from that story.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, what is that?
Being Wally Pipped means you get replaced.
Okay.
So Wally Pipp got hurt, and Joe DiMaggio got into the lineup that day. And I think it was Joe DiMaggio. Maybe I'm thinking of Lou Gehrig. I don't know. But that like kick-started like one of the longest like games played streaks at the time before Ripken's.
Yeah.
And in that he
Well,
also
Ripken
had
cheated
the
for all of his. So.
yeah. I mean, they were like moving games around
Interesting.
and shit.
Moving
for
games
him.
around. The lights
Cut.
didn't work one night. So
Yeah.
they
Those
couldn't
Yankees
play,
back then were
but
just
it was also
different
the
breeds.
same
Yeah.
day
Well, I
his
gotta-
son was born.
Yeah.
So I know like
Okay.
the anniversary of this happened.
I hear the clip
in the
I mean,
last
all the
couple
time.
days.
You know, Joe DiMaggio's out there
Sure.
playing because his buddy got hurt, and Mickey
It was
Mantle's
Lou
getting
Gehrig.
top in the bleachers.
Yeah.
It was Lou
It's
Gehrig. Yeah, lost his starting position to Lou Gehrig because Wally Pipp took a day off due to a headache.
That's terrifying, bro.
Yeah, played 10 seasons for the Yankees, won 3 pennants with them, and then he got Wally Pipped.
Hey Lou, I got a headache. Just
He literally
Go
asked
ahead.
to be benched that day for a headache,
God.
and then Lou Gehrig came in and played
And
2,130 consecutive games.
And he was never seen again.
Yeah.
he probably was hungover.
Yeah.
Yeah, he died of a
Everyone's
heart attack in
alcoholic back then.
1965.
Oh.
Rest in peace, Wally Pipp. But yeah, that's where that term comes from. In case anybody.
Nope.
So
even you
did
guys
Wally
don't
Pipp
know
do anything after he got replaced?
that. He later worked for Rockford Screw Products, selling screws and bolts. He played a little bit of minor league baseball.
Dude, that man said, I just need a day off and got sent to
Oh
hell.
my god, he was like, man, my head hurts, and then a fucking couple years later, he's selling screws.
He said, my head hurts. And
Yeah.
the fucking
Wow.
Grim Reaper came out from
Yeah.
behind the woods.
Well,
and
Wally
shit.
Pipp knew the assignment. So as a Yankees fan, thank you,
So
Wally
yeah,
Pipp.
in case anybody didn't know, getting Wally Pipped is I know that term and I have for a long time.
Never heard of it before.
Yeah, getting Wally Pipped is just like out of nowhere. You just
You're about
lose
as old
your
as people
spot.
who use Facebook as their primary social media.
Just because I know a term.
It's a dig at me.
It was more
Oh,
like a dig
okay.
at Luke and Colin.
Yeah, I was about to say, is it Colin too?
both
Colin's
of
the
them
same
are
way.
just huge Facebook
Yeah.
guys.
Love it.
All right, what
All
else
right,
we
we still
got?
got 2 more questions.
I went off the rails a little bit.
What is one piece of sports equipment that you owned as a child that you can never forget about? Like
The
a
sports
ball or a
equipment
bat or something
The
that you
sports
can't
equipment
forget?
have to be something I used to play my sport.
Yes.
Like sports equipment can't be like a scooter
Sure.
because the Fusion was fucking awesome.
How about both? Because the Fusion was
Fusion was awesome.
very dangerous.
And
bombing
yeah,
down
the branding of it was it doesn't have brakes,
yeah.
which is like the
It's supposed to be
craziest
like
thing.
a ripstick, but not a
Slash
ripstick, and it's a
skateboard
scooter.
slash longboard.
Can we get a picture of one of these?
The
Because I
Fusion was the
Dude.
greatest thing ever. And you know why we destroyed the Fusion? Was to get the ball bearings out of it to make fidget spinners.
oh my god.
We took the wheels
Dude, I
off
don't even
and
know if I'll
cut
be
them
able to
open
find
in a
this.
vice. Oh, there it is.
It's this
That's
one.
it. That
It's
one.
exact
it
color and
bent and
everything.
like flexed to turn.
Yeah.
It was the greatest piece of four-wheeled equipment ever created.
But like Luke, you know what neighborhood we're in. You
Yeah.
know the hill that's in this neighborhood, right?
No brakes.
Over here.
No
No
brakes.
brakes. We'd be bombing it from where we are now
Yeah.
to down that hill.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
so
Flying,
unsafe.
and you're flying off of
So
it.
Yeah.
unsafe.
Like if you made it down to the bottom
Because
you
there
were
was
you
nowhere
were
to
a
slow
legend.
down. So like what you had to do was you get all the way down this hill and then it's just a curve into a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
What you had to do was go, and then when you got to the yard on the left,
Just bombing. the
you
grass.
just kind of you try to take a wide turn and just hit the curb and jump off and just bail into the grass.
and just roll.
Yeah, and just
It was
roll.
terrifying.
Try and stick the landing.
Oh man.
Yeah. The
Um
Fusion was awesome.
We
So
should
that was
get
like
one.
at home
We should get one.
equipment. Probably should.
I had a bazooka
What is that?
growing
What?
up. Do y'all know what a bazooka
I-
is?
No.
It's the 2014 World Cup soccer ball.
Oh.
That's like the ball to have.
yeah.
Those cost like
You know the ball that
$100.
the only ball I know by name is the Jabulani.
You don't know about the Azteca?
No.
That's Mexico World Cup ball.
I wasn't really watching soccer yet.
Beautiful soccer ball.
The bazooka is a beautiful soccer ball.
Yeah,
That was like
and
the
that was-
first World Cup I watched.
You know, you got to think when they made that ball, people had slammed them for the Jabulani, or well,
Yeah.
goalkeepers mainly. But
The Jabulani is awesome.
yeah, the bazooka was sick.
Shout out to Chris MD for making all those videos of him
Oh,
kicking
yeah.
different World Cup balls.
God, I love
All
your
of them.
I love your knowledge of FIFA
He
YouTube.
kicked
Chris
every
MD's
single
amazing.
one. Even the like hard ass leather ones that's basically a baseball glove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we're going toys, we had these red sleds.
Sorry.
Sorry, you
Both
talking
for
about
real,
your,
both of
You said we're
favorite
going. We're
toys.
talking about
What do
toys.
you want me to talk about? What else would
No,
you?
I was just thinking when you say we're talking about toys, just immediately go to sex toys. in
Yeah,
head.
my
That's-
vibrator
yeah.
works really well.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say. Anyway,
Yeah, like I had is it called a Hitachi? Is that
yeah,
what that thing
Hitachi
is?
one.
One that you gotta like plug into the wall.
Oh, the microphone.
Nah,
Yeah.
I got a Sibian actually.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
All right. We're getting off the rails.
So I had these
What were we
these
talking
red sleds. We had 2 of them, and obviously, sleds for the snow, right?
Just a
well,
normal ass sled?
Yeah,
Okay.
Like with the metal rails?
it
or
was
like
plastic,
Okay.
plastic,
Okay.
but it was pretty aerodynamic. It was awesome. But me and my cousin realized that my hill was steep enough to where we could just use them when it wasn't
Yeah, on
snowing.
the grass.
So we would run and jump on them
Oh,
with our
yeah.
knees and just like sled drift, and it
That's
was
awesome.
so much fun.
We used to
So-
take cardboard boxes out to this park that's over here,
And do
and
similar
go down because
things.
they just had a super steep hill.
Yeah,
They just went down into an empty field, and we would do that all the time.
it's
It's
so much
awesome.
fun.
Or just in our sweatpants, and
Yeah,
our parents were not too happy about
yeah,
it
that's a good part.
because we were just ripping holes. out. Disgusting.
Yeah, so best piece of actual sports equipment I had, probably the Easton Stealth.
Yeah.
I bet it's awesome.
What about
Wait, was that
Titan?
Easton or? Oh, maybe I was thinking the Easton Titan. Maybe the Stealth was Louisville Slugger.
I think so.
Then it was the Titan that I'm thinking of. The white
Titan
one.
was the white with blue
Yeah.
bat.
The Easton Titan was awesome.
Yeah,
What is the
Easton
Easton Stealth? Okay, I was right.
It's a
We had the
beezer.
the orange one.
Yep.
Yeah, that thing was a badass. Hitting tennis balls with that.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure that might have been one of the bats that Colin put that tennis ball through our neighbor's garage
No, that
door
was
window.
baseball.
No,
That
we
was
hit a
baseball.
tennis ball through one too. Colin wasn't hitting a baseball that far
Yeah, he
at that
was.
time. No,
Yes, he was.
not from home plate.
I
It was a
vividly
tennis
remember it.
ball.
He did it with a baseball too.
Okay,
The
well,
baseball's the one that shattered.
Same garage
Okay.
door.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man,
We used to.
that's
Luke,
insane.
you've been down there. You know that it's set up perfect for a baseball.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
it used to have a baseball diamond painted
Yeah.
on the ground.
And then
Oh,
they
that's pretty
repaved
sick.
the
yeah,
whole neighborhood.
and they repaved the whole neighborhood and covered it up.
There was even a basketball court painted too.
Yeah, but
It
we
was-
didn't ever use that side.
It was pretty sick.
That's awesome.
It was
I'm trying to
awesome.
think of my favorite equipment
Yeah.
that we had as well growing up.
Sounds like y'all grew up in the '80s or something.
No, we just grew up down the street from where we are right now.
Yeah. I know Grayson's gonna hate it. One of my favorite things, or most memorable things, was the ramps.
Yeah, I mean, I just have one bad memory with them, so yeah.
We had like you wanted to go off some jumps as a kid. Luke?
Yeah.
We had like the plastic ramps with like a tabletop that you could put in the middle of them and
Yeah.
everything.
Wow.
You could like spread them out and hit crazy jumps. In the
We've gone
winter,
over
we
the
would-
actual story of
Yes.
why I don't like them, so we don't need to go over
In the
it again.
winter, we would like set them up at the bottom of the hill so
That
that,
was
they would
awesome.
get snowed on. And
Yeah.
you'd jump it. You never
That
had
was pretty
enough
awesome.
speed to actually do anything. You just
Yeah,
hit
you
your ass on
Yeah,
the
no,
ground.
you
really
just
hard.
dig under the fucking ramp. and
Yeah,
you'd be
it was
fucked.
it was bad,
Ah.
but it was so fun to just
Yeah.
like think you were doing something really cool, but all you
Yep.
did was jump off the ramp onto the curb
Yeah,
or like go over it, and it was like, yeah, you felt so cool though at like 12 years old doing
Yeah.
that.
you know what's one thing I'm glad we didn't go through a phase of? Rollerblades.
Mm.
We had
I'm-
some.
I didn't.
We had a pair.
We had a pair and it was
Yeah,
yours.
I think they were mine, but I
You're
don't
a
remember
fucking
where they
loser.
came from or why.
If
I
you
had them.
rollerblade, fuck you. Just general. Anybody out there?
Unless you're like really nice with it.
If you're an adult that owns rollerblades, grow up.
I don't know. Some of those people like they pause, but grind down the rails pretty nicely on them.
Do it on a skateboard and I'll care.
That's true. Skateboarding's way cool.
Well, so
Dude,
what's
like-
the story? I don't
I,
think
I
I've
went
ever heard
over. I got way too much speed. I went back way too far because
Luke,
some
the
kid kept
jumps were about
jumping
this
in front
far
of it
apart. And
when I was
Grayson
trying to
went
come
from
up.
probably about 75 yards away.
Yeah, and I like got as much speed as possible. I went over.
Missed
I
the
just go
second
straight
ramp.
over the handlebars.
Missed the second ramp.
Yeah, I
hits
think
the,
I actually have
hits
heard
the
that
front
story,
wheel,
yeah.
rolls for like
Yeah.
2 feet, and then just slams down on his face.
Yeah. It sucked. I like like my whole forearm was just scraped open.
We were
It
all
was
so
horrible.
confused why he needed so much. He
It's because
could've-
the kid kept jumping in front of the ramp, and if I was gonna hit him, I needed to end him. Was the idea?
we were all like, I guess he needs that much. Like he could have made it over if he started at the bottom of the ramp. Like,
Yeah.
like he
I could have started
at
our driveway and gone to the middle of the cul-de-sac. I would have been fine.
You could have started on the ramp and probably been fine.
Bro.
Grayson.
Yeah. You got any more
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah, one more. Would you rather have teeth for hair or hair for teeth?
Okay, hang on. Teeth for hair, hair for teeth. I think that's so
Will
bad.
my hat cover it?
Um,
I think that's too easy
honestly,
of a
you can't
cop
wear a
out.
hat.
Yeah, it's too easy of a cop out. I'm gonna take neither.
I got.
Remember,
That's not.
remember, you need to brush your teeth every day.
Oh my! Hair in your mouth constantly. It's teeth.
That's already
You
a
gotta cut
problem.
it.
It's
You
already.
gotta keep it trimmed.
Oh,
Keep it nice.
But
hair in my mouth is already a problem of mine.
hair.
I don't like the feeling of
So you'd
hair on
rather
my
have
tongue.
rows of teeth for hair?
Yeah.
That might look
All
cool.
day. It might fix my balding.
I was literally about to say that, but I was
What
like,
if you
I'll
just
let
started
Luke
losing
address that.
teeth instead of hair?
Then that
That would be. So
I can't say what I would do on the.
So there's just a patch of no teeth on the back.
That's where my tongue is.
Yeah. He's so
It's
bored.
not a whole mouth. It's just teeth.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to go teeth for hair.
Yeah,
You think so?
teeth for
Dude, imagine you
Yeah,
go
you
to.
don't want hair in my mouth.
Dude, think about how many times we open our mouths on this podcast and people can see our teeth.
And it's just
It's fucking hair? And is it just like
Oh.
one hair for each tooth, or is it a shitload of hair?
in my brain. I'm
'Cause, like,
thinking
isn't it how,
it's
like, a
Luke's
whale- like,
mustache, but
whale's
in
teeth?
his mouth.
Whales' teeth are like. It almost looks
Yeah.
like hair.
In my
Yeah.
in my
Ton of
mind, I'm literally picturing Luke's mustache on the inside of his lip.
yes.
That's
Nah.
scary.
It
I
is.
don't
That's what
wanna-
I'm saying.
Yeah, I think I'll
I
just.
do wish I had a mustache like
I think I'll just go with teeth.
Teeth for
on
hair.
my hair.
that. Yeah. Even if
So
I can't
weird.
wear a hat,
So wait, what if I try and grow out my hair? How does that work?
the teeth get longer, I guess.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Or is it just stays a uniform size? Like is
Yeah, I
it
mean, never
tight
getting a haircut
together?
would be
Like,
nice, but I mean, I don't know. I guess. Wait. Also, the other caveat would be: do you lose your baby teeth and then regrow adult teeth?
Oh, yeah,
on
you
your
shed.
head?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
You'd
yeah.
probably shed. You'd have to.
Yeah. Would you have to go to the dentist to get a haircut?
You get it pulled.
You get a cleaning.
Oh my god! Imagine rolling.
wouldn't
up
have
in
to
the
shampoo?
dentist And they're like, all right, open your mouth. Why? And they're like, don't you want me to take my hat off? And they're like,
Yeah.
what? And you take your hat off. It's just like.
But you'd
a
also have
billion
teeth in your mouth.
Oh, that's true. You'd have.
what about getting like hit on your head too with your teeth?
Oh, they'd break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have to
You need a
regrow.
root canal on the top of your head.
That's scary.
Yeah.
I don't
You know
like
what?
that
We should
question.
probably stop getting bogged down in the logistics of this.
Yeah, we need to go.
Yeah. All right. We're going to call it an episode right there. This was a blast today. We covered all the most exhilarating things. Teeth on your head,
Aaron
the Club World
Rodgers.
Cup,
New helmet.
Aaron Rodgers, bad baseball. I don't know. All right, guys. I will catch you guys. Oh, make sure you watch MLB Teams by Nationality. It dropped a little bit late on Wednesday. That's my bad. I had a lot of work stuff going on, so I couldn't get the edit done on Tuesday. But came out Wednesday night. It was a fun game to play. It's up to you guys how that video came out. It's gonna need a really good reception for us to run that one back in that same style. But I think we're thinking of some ideas of how to change the way that we approach that one and make it a little more fun for you guys and for us
Yeah.
at the same time.
And
So-
if you hated that, go watch Wavelength again.
yeah, if you hated that, just go watch Wavelength because
Yeah.
I thought that game was awesome. Okay, I will be back here on Monday with Colin and Nathan. Luke will be back here next week, and I don't remember which one it is that's coming next week. It's either 21 Questions or MLB Feud.
It's
One
a
of the two is
surprise
coming
for all
next
of
week.
us.
It's a surprise for all of us because I haven't started editing either of them. So you'll see that one next Wednesday, and be on the lookout for it. Make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube. You turn on post notifications. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and on the podcast platforms. Rate 5 stars and give us a follow. Luke, do you have a Spanish term for us before we get out of here? Very quickly.
Crap.
It could be literally anything in Spanish, and it would be new.
Nope.
Okay.
Froze up.
The Spanish term this week is no. It means the same thing in English. All right. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.